Hello guys, going to be talking about a more kind of advanced entry style now, and this is totally optional, something you can add in if you want to, but I would recommend being very comfortable and experienced with the standard ways of getting involved in the market, but this is just another sort of layer you can add at some point. So it's to do with getting involved in an entry with less than a 1 minute change of character. And it might be a situation where there's a really strong POI that you're looking for price to tap into, but the 1 minute change of character level is a long distance for price to go. So you could then refine down further to see what a 30-second change of character would look like. And if it makes more sense and you want to get involved, you can take an entry based on that instead of a 1 minute. And so we'll go into it. And it's about certain areas that you can really refine down and have everything going for them that tick all the boxes, and you want to get involved in that area in any way possible. So the particular area we're going to look at is, so as you can see here, we had this 15-minute leg of price where we broke this major low down here. Previously, before that, we'd had some nice bearish order flow. This high had swept this previous high and then broke to the downside, and then we had some minor structure. We did somewhat re-establish order flow here, and again we had some major structure built up here and broke down again. However, as you can see at this point, the premium was left unmitigated. And then what did price do? Well, price tapped quite aggressively with this, what I believe was a news spike, up into the premium, and we got a reaction down, but it never managed to break any form of structure from here. And if we look at this a little bit more closely, what we can see is that this high never tapped into a zone on the 15-minute. So if we just mark out our relevant extreme zone, what you can see is that price just kind of hovered below that point without tapping into it. Now this is something we can see as inducement, and that's kind of a form of liquidity. So yes, we tapped into the premium. Yes, we had a reaction, but did that reaction follow through? No, it didn't. Didn't break any form of structure. And with something hovering just below a POI like this, a lot of people would be looking to get involved in a trade somewhere in this wick, seeing this as the point of interest. But for me, I was always looking above this wick at this zone right here. And what we do with these unmitigated 15-minute zones is refine them down to 1 minute areas that we want price to tap into for us to give a reaction. So if I look at where that zone formed, what I see is we have this 1 minute leg. So let me just move that out of the way, and this premium discount tool. See, we had a high, a low, and ultimately a high here, and then we broke structure to the downside, and we never mitigated this 1 minute leg to the premium, as you can see here. So we have this unmitigated 1 minute premium inside a 15-minute 1 minute premium, which is also inside a valid 15-minute supply zone. So then what we can do is refine down that 15-minute supply zone down to certain 1 minute zones, and we could look at this candle, we could look at this wick, and we could look at ultimately the unmitigated portion of this wick as well. And then if we got a change of character from any of these zones, I'd be interested. Now if we move back over to the right, what we can see and play price forward a little bit is that price eventually came up, broke this high as I expected it would. People may have got caught out over here with this change of character, but for me, I was always thinking this high was going to get taken because it didn't mitigate anything valid. So that's always something to keep note of. And then it tapped into this zone. Now, at this point, I'm thinking, right, it's tapped into my refined zone. I really like this for a short, and the opportunity here would be to take this all the way down to break the current 15-minute low, which would be down here, or even here. So once price tapped into there, I was waiting for a, well, first of all, 1 minute change of character, but then I saw that the 1 minute change of character would be all the way down at this level. And because this was such a nice zone, it had inducement, it was at the extreme, it was a refined 1 minute, in a 1 minute premium inside a 15-minute premium, just a completely delicious zone. I wanted to potentially just see what was on the seconds to make this easier to get involved in. And so as you can see here, once we've tapped in to this zone, there's a much closer change of character area right here on the 30 seconds. So I was happy to take a trade based on this. So if we play price forward a little bit more, you can see again price moves up a little bit higher, okay, into this current zone. So if I look to the left even more, can I refine this zone down even more? Well, yes, I can go for just this wick over here, which, you know, is an even better refined zone. So again, the 1 minute has got even longer at this point, and the 30 seconds has given us an even nicer change of character zone down here. So if we were to look again, the 30 seconds has given us an even tighter change of character zone. We've got a nice wick, and the 1 minute is still even longer. So the 1 minute would be waiting a long time for a change of character, and the price could just leave us by then. 30 seconds, we're just looking for this low to go. And you know, another thing to note with that is if the 1 minute is all the way down here, and 30 seconds is just here, we may just see price come down to mitigate this 1 minute zone and then continue up. But if it does do that and we get involved up here, the likelihood is we're going to be risk free by the time it gets down here, so we don't give a shit if it comes back and takes us out. So, you know, there's always bonuses to getting in quicker, and that's getting risk-free more. If price came all the way down there, I'd be wary of getting in once it's had a reaction to this extreme sort of 1 minute, because it's likely the price has done its job. So here we've had the 30-second change of character in this lovely 1 minute zone. So now I would wait on the 5 seconds for price to come back over here into this 30-second supply. Ultimately it does, and again, as there were zones above, what you might want to do is use a stop order. So once price comes into this zone, you'd already have your entry ready on position size calculator or whatever you use, covering the high like this. Price is tapped into your area. It's there for a few seconds. It's quite deep, so you think, right, okay, now I will happily place my order. If it comes down and tags me in, great. If it carries on, I'll close it and look for an entry in this zone. So yeah, it's all good with there, and we had this lovely reaction. and ultimately price never did, I believe, once we got a 1 minute change of character, never did come back until a later date, that is. And then, you know, ultimately you want to target, first of all, you could have a 58R target quite simply, and then you'd probably be targeting this overall low for 96R in total. And price continued on down at some point, if we watch that, and eventually did muck about, and eventually, yeah, all the way down, and easily smashed through that target. So yeah, that is something to keep in mind. This was a trade that I took, and it's definitely a more advanced thing. Maybe you might see it as a little bit less safe, and it's a case-by-case basis. If there was a nice area just to get a 1 minute choc, a tighter one, that would be fine, but in this scenario there wasn't, so 30 seconds was the best way to go. And a tight change of character is really what you want, because, like I explained, if it wants to mitigate something lower down, you get in on the tight one, it drops down, mitigates whatever it needs to, and then continues back up. You're most likely risk-free, and getting to risk-free is what we want. Okay, so yeah, that was that trade. 95R, again, easy. Take one of those once a month, and you're laughing, absolutely laughing.